iOS Developer Beta 1 was a buggy mess. I mean, it lived up to that Developer Beta name. But Beta 2 is out now and it seems a lot smoother, a lot faster, and I think this is a better start to what we're actually going to see come September. So first off, if we take a look right here, you can see this build came in at 1.87 gigabytes. But what's new in this one? Well, the control center has been updated. Safari has a new feature and some fixes. And even the emoji keyboard got something people have been asking for. So I went to Reddit and checked out the iOS beta thread, and people are really liking beta 2. One user said it's smoother and snappier. Another user said this is the best beta experience they've had. Not sure if I'd go that far, but I gotta say, things are looking up. Let's just take a look at the control center. So now, if you remember before, when you went into the control center, you really saw the full background. Everything was glass and see-through, and you really couldn't see everything very clearly. Now, as you can see, when you're looking at it, the back has very much been added to be darker. You can see everything very clearly. I can even go to the other sections. Like, there is no issues with readability with the control center anymore. Now, the notification center, if we come over here and we take a look here, you know, there's still a little bit. I think they've added a little bit more blur when they need to. Like, that's not too bad. Right there, we have a few that we can just kind of go through. I think that's working pretty well. Like, I'm not too worried about that. Like, before I had one up top that was like impossible to read. You know, these could still probably use some tweaks, but we're looking better. I also want to say I am really loving the widgets being able to go lower than just rather top. Like, I never used them before. I am really liking the way the new system is working. And everything just seems to be working a lot smoother. Apps are opening up easier. The camera app seems to be opening up a little bit faster. There's still some slowdown right there with that animation. They're still showing that every single time. I don't know if they're going to continue to do that, but it does open up faster. I can get right to it. As soon as I open it, I can start taking pictures. There's even during that animation, there's nothing slowing me down right there. I'm not sure, but maybe this animation has changed a little bit in the camera. Like, it looks so smooth and just nice as well. I really like the way it just pops up and how it goes away. So, you know, it comes right out from the photos button. I'm guessing if I go into video and I hit it, it comes right from the video button. Those look really nice. The shortcut icons, these two right here, this is one that uses an image. This is one that uses like the create the system. And, you know, the background's still not clear. I'm hoping they give us that. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. You can still go in and edit however you want. So if I go and I customize and I say I want the default, I still, like, I don't know, the YouTube and the YouTube Studio, this look with that glass like effect added still isn't looking the best to me. They still kind of look blurry. If you go in dark mode, let's see if I go to always, I think those look great. Like, I don't think there's as much blur looking on those. And then of course you have the clear, the tinted, however you want to do that. And you can go with the large icons or the small, and you can still dim the wallpaper a little bit right there. So I'm going to stick with the clear, but as you can see, like I said, that's still not transparent. Hopefully that continues. Obviously the image one, I'm not really sure if they're going to be able to do anything about that, but hopefully they can. And I still love the new look of like a multi shortcut. This still works perfectly. I love the way they're doing that. Big fan of the look of that compared to what it was before even beta 1. Now let's go into details on some of those new features. So if you notice when I showed this off originally, it's kind of hard and you can easily miss it. So if I go into the emoji keyboard and right when I click on emoji, you'll see it will actually tell you the name of that emoji. So right here, if you look at it, it's telling you the name, even your custom ones. So if I go and I just do this one right here, it says Brian sticking a tongue out. So all this, or Brian laying on a couch, therapy couch, like all these, like it's really cool. Like I'm very happy to see that, you know, just in case you ever wondered what an emoji is, Let's just try this one because this is obviously, it's like saying a bad word. What's it say? Symbol over mouth. So, okay, they don't go into details enough possibly because some people could actually not know what, because I've had that before. I've had people using one and I'm like, do you know what that one is? And they'd be like, no, not really. So, because I mean, there's not that many, but facing the clouds. These are really cool. I like, let's see what the vomiting face, nauseous face, face with peeking eyes. So it's really cool to see that they've added this, something that I know some people have actually been asking for. They've kind of wanted to know what all these emojis were called, and now we actually can see that before we even send them out. But Safari, I think, has gotten one of the biggest updates. So we have one thing that they changed last, and it drove me insane. The alt tabs, it was so hard to get to that. Now it's back, kind of easy to access. So that is a big thank you. But that's not it. So another item that Safari has added, and let's say if you're on a video, you're playing it, you actually have the ability, once it starts playing, you have that audio indicator, which is really nice, and you can even mute the tab. So as soon as I click on that, now this audio doesn't matter, I can turn it up. This tab's gonna stay muted, and then I can come back in and unmute it. Whoa. Let's go back to muted again. So it's really cool. I like that they've added that, and it's just something that we've had on the Mac for a while, but now it has come to iOS as well. Another item that has been improved upon is if you go into settings and you go into battery, once this loads, I can scroll down, go into charging, you can set a charge limit. So basically what this does, this has already been there, you can say, I never want my phone to charge above 80%. And then before, once you plugged it in, you were just always stuck at that. So it was always there. Unless you came all the way back in here, you were just always going to have, it's just going to charge to 80. Now you can actually get a notification that will tell you, hey, charging is paused. Would you like to override this session? So when that happens, you actually have the ability to override it and actually charge all the way up to 100 right through that notification rather than having to come in here, make changes to actually get it charged to 100%. Also, while I'm here, I might as well take a look at my battery health. It is normal. My maximum capacity is 96% on this device. I have 302 cycles. First time used was September 2024. So we're almost there. New phones will be coming out in a few months. So September 2025 is probably the prediction on those. When iOS 26 is released as well, will be sometime in September. Now, messages obviously got some big updates, and I think it's gotten a little bit smoother. But it's not perfect yet. There is still a little bit of a lag for the background to actually pop up. We can actually come in here and change the background to all sorts of different things, whether it's just pictures you've taken, or you can have it set to different colors. Let's go ahead and you can switch between different colors. So if I want to say I want to go with that one. Now the sad thing is this is just something else to kind of stand out. So if I go in and like Tim Cook here, this is just a Google Voice number that I have, so it's not tied to, it's not like an iMessage number. So basically Android users and all that stuff, if I go in to actually edit this, you will notice there is no background option. So I cannot set a background to somebody that doesn't have an iPhone, which obviously when you set backgrounds, they do get shared. So they do, the other user does get access to them. Obviously that can't happen with an Android, but the fact that you can't set one even for yourself is kind of rough. So hopefully something changes with that, because I still think that's just the green versus blue bubbles to the extreme. Not sure what's going to happen there, but hopefully that changes and they at least let us set backgrounds. But it's Apple, they probably won't. Once again, that animation actually going into it has gotten a lot better, which just goes along with everything getting a little bit smoother and easier to use. So beta 2 seems to be a lot smoother and a lot better, but should you install it? I would say no. If you haven't installed it yet and you don't need it for developer reasons or anything like that, I would say continue to hold off, wait for that public beta because it's just going to be way better. Too early to say how battery life is going to be on this device at this point. I've only had it installed for maybe an hour at this point. So we're going to have to wait and just see how long term battery life does. If you would like to see an updated video on how Beta 2 does long term, how the battery actually handles, if it's gotten better or worse, let me know in the comments below or just by hitting that thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.